Hi, I'm Shauna Johnson, and I'm the City Administrator here in Waite Park.
Hi, and I'm Dave Bentrud. I'm Police Chief here in Waite Park.
And we've got some really exciting news that we would like to share with you here going on in the city. There's a lot of great things going on here in Waite Park. And one thing that's really going to give us a lot of opportunities is some of the changes that were made at the legislature with sales tax. And we now have an opportunity to be able to take a few of our local projects and share that cost onto some of those that come to our community in Waite Park here to shop, to work, and to play.
You know, Waite Park really has become a destination for business. We have over 500 businesses. There's a lot more recreation and entertainment activities that are taking place. So Waite Park really has become that center that draws a lot of people into our community to take advantage of those options to do things.
And we're really excited. You know, one of the things about having a lot of this activity going on here, it creates a lot of opportunities, but it can also create challenges. For Waite Park, our two main sources of revenue that we have are really sales tax and property taxes. And so when we see opportunities where projects that we have can be utilized and spread that cost and share that with some of our individuals that come here to shop and to work, we really want to try to do those things. And so with the changes that the legislature made, they've really given us that opportunity for projects that were not normally being able to be paid for with sales tax. And the two specific ones that met their criteria were our projects with a regional public safety facility and making regional trail connections. And I think that from our perspective, we do believe that these are really much needed projects for our community. And we'd like to just share a little bit about those projects with you. And Dave, I know regional public safety is a big thing, and some may say, well, how is public safety regional? But really it is.
Mm-hmm. When you look at the statistics, about 80% of the individuals that we arrest for various crimes, be it crime or traffic, 80% come from outside of our community. Ironically, about 80% of the sales tax that is raised in Waite Park comes from non-residents. So 15 years ago, when I first came here as chief, we had talked to some local legislators about the possibility of using a sales tax for a project like a public safety facility. It was not an option back then. It made a lot of sense to me then, and it makes a lot of sense for us now to be looking at this as a way to pay for the facilities that we need.
And needs that we have had, our department has certainly grown. I know I've been here for 18 years, mm-hmm. and I think we had 13 officers at that time, and now we're at, what, 22?
Well, our existing city hall was built 28 years ago, and of course the PD is a part of that city hall complex, and back then the police department had 10 full-time employees total, that include officers and records. Today, if you include some of our part-time staff, we have almost 30. And so we literally have run out of space. We have officers working in offices that are made for one, and there's 2 or 3 people in there. We've run out of locker room space. We don't have enough stalls to park our squads indoors. So the needs have increased over time, and we need more space.
So what we're looking at then for a regional public safety facility would be to look at potentially constructing something new. And some of our estimates on costs are, nearing $20 million, and I know that's significant. Mm-hmm. But what do you think? How do you think that, you think sales tax is a great way for us to be able to consider something like that?
Absolutely. I think the sales tax will have the minimal impact on our residents and versus, let's say, a property tax increase, because if you look at we estimate that the cost to build a new public safety building is about $20 million. You think about that. That means with this half-cent sales tax, and a lot of that being paid by non-Waite Park residents, about $16 million of that $20 million is being paid for by individuals who live outside of our community. That's a huge number in my mind.
It is, and that's really based off of the 80% of the people that come in to our community, and those are the ones that contribute 80% of our sales tax. You're right, Dave. I do think that. And I think the one thing that we need to all remember is that the needs of public safety aren't going away.
They are not. And we have got to do something to get more space. And the sales tax option makes absolutely the most sense. It will have the minimal impact, like I shared, and it will address the needs for the future in a way that will have the least financial impact to the pocketbooks of our residents.
And so that is going to be a question that will be on the ballot this November, will be to spend up to $20 million of 0.5% of sales tax for a public safety facility. The other project that we are looking at, also including on that ballot, is regional trail connections. And we're looking at spending up to $7.5 million on regional trail connections. You know, I feel very fortunate that here in Waite Park, you know, our tagline is where Minnesota connects, and we connect on so many different levels. And one of those that creates significant opportunities for us is our trails. We were able to have the Wobegon Trail come into the Waite Park community a few years ago through our River's Edge Park. Now what we're looking at is the Glacial Lakes Trail, which will be coming from the Wilmer area, connecting with the Rocori Trail, and then coming into Waite Park. Those are great opportunities for us, and trails in Minnesota are something that create a lot of energy. Recreation is a significant piece of our community, but for us, what we want to do is be able to connect those trails together. And so our plan would be to spend up to $7.5 million to make those connections between those two trail systems. Now, if I look at that and I look at what part of that would residents pay versus non-resident, the non-residents would pay about $6 million of that total project cost, which is significant. There's a lot of residents that would utilize that, but there are also a lot of others that come into our community that will also benefit from those trail systems as well. So I'm excited about the potential that this sales tax could have on our community here in Waite Park.
And both of these projects really will serve to enhance the quality of life for our residents, and again, sharing that cost with a regional region that comes into our community to take advantage of those services. So it's a unique opportunity.
And I want to make sure that our audience knows that a 0.5 cent sales tax for these goes for both projects. We're not asking for 2 0.5 cent sales tax, we're asking for 1, and that would fund both of these projects. And the other thing I think that's important to make sure is that everyone understands is that these are the only 2 projects with this legislation that can actually be used. Once these are funded, the sales tax can't continue. The sales tax would actually sunset, and so we wouldn't have any opportunities to do any other projects with this. But it certainly would be a huge impact to our Waite Park residents if these projects could use sales tax to be paid for with these.
And I would encourage anybody that if you have questions, call me at City Hall. I'd be willing to give tours of our existing space so you get a sense of what we're dealing with as far as the lack of space. So reach out to us, be happy to show you kind of what we're dealing with.
And I would also offer that same to me. Feel free to give me a call. Also, if you're looking for additional information, we will be able to provide more of that information on our website, and that can give you some of that additional things. Both Dave and I's emails will also be available to you, so you can certainly give us a call, and we would be happy to answer any additional questions that you have.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.